What's up guys, my name's Aiden McIntyre and this is Tip of the Week 2. So the reason we're talking bulking today is because you guys chose that was the topic you wanted me to go over. I put a poll up on Instagram and bulking won with 57% over sleep routine. So I'm assuming there's a lot of you that need to gain weight or would like to figure out some more tips to bulk. So before we get started, as most of you I'm assuming could guess, I am not a doctor, I'm not a nutritionist. So all the tips I'm giving away today are all from my own experience or the experience of others that I know, and it's mostly a lot of things that I've collected through my years of training. So again, not a specialist in this category, but it is something that I've done multiple times. Alright, so most likely if you're watching this and you typed into YouTube bulking tips, probably small. You probably don't want to be small. I can't recommend being small. I would rather be big. Or you're a friend or a family member who still feels inclined to support my channel. Either way, thank you for watching, and I hope that some of these tips today help. So we're gonna start with the common errors I hear. Things like, bulking's expensive, I eat a ton of food, I just can't gain weight, I'm a hard gainer, I'm just small naturally. So the one you always hear is the whole I just eat a lot of food and I can't gain weight. When I hear excuses like that, we got things like these. I'm showing you guys these because it's just proof that your excuses kind of suck. And if you approach bulking with a negative mindset or really anything in training, you're probably gonna get a negative result. So these are reasons why it's not that expensive and you're probably not eating enough. Step one to begin with is cut your excuses. If gaining weight is important to you and it's something that you deem necessary to be better at your sport, then you're gonna find a way to make it happen. So the reason I showed you guys the rice, peanut butter, tuna, oats, pasta is because it proves that it's not that expensive. This is $1. I don't even eat pasta, but I bought it at the store just to put it in the video to show you guys that this is $1. This is 1 to 2 meals. Cans of tuna, peanut butter, bags of rice. This was $3. And so I think a lot of times guys think about how many 4,000, 6,000 calories, but if you do it in a certain way, it's really probably gonna end up being less expensive than you eating out all the time. All right, here's my advice for your bulk. If you're taking notes, this is, I would say, step one. You need to track your food. Everyone says they eat a lot of food and they just can't gain weight, and that's because you're not actually eating enough food, and you don't actually know because you don't have any proof because you're not tracking your numbers. So there's apps that you can track your food on. You can do it the old-fashioned way and write it all down, but you have to track your food so that you know actually how many calories you're eating. So I also recommend guys track their food like what your current day would look like right now, because you might be surprised that you're eating way less calories than you thought you were. The second tip for this first step is tracking. So you're gonna track your calories because you need to know what you're actually eating. You need to track your weight, obviously, so pick every few days and pick a steady routine. So if you weigh in on Monday and Friday, it needs to be at the same time in the morning and stuff like that. So not one day can't be after you've eaten a meal, one can't be at night. Take progress photos. If you want to see yourself getting bigger, you need to take photos from the very start and see it all the way through. That way you can also track, because it's sometimes hard to see when you're the one putting on the weight and you kind of see it every day. But over time, if you do a proper bulk, 1 month, 2 month, 3 month, those are going to start to look different. And most importantly in this is you have to start with smaller goals. When I talk to guys about bulking, they always want to gain 10 pounds or they need to and that's not necessarily the best way to do it. It's all about incremental growth over time. So if you set your goal at 1 pound a week or maybe 2 pounds a week, it sounds very little, but honestly, first off, it's probably gonna be hard for you to do if you haven't done this before. So I would set a goal of 1 to 2 pounds a week depending on how much weight you need to gain. Step two is how much to eat. More than you're eating right now, and the answer is kind of always more. If you're not gaining weight, you have to probably eat more. But you have to definitely eat more calories than you're burning in a day. So if you don't know how many calories you're burning in a day, you also don't know how many calories you need to be eating. So you can't be at a deficit. So you need to have more calories than what you're burning every day. Honestly, for macros, a lot of people get into macros when they get into bulking. If you've struggled to put on weight before, it probably means that you struggle eating enough calories in a certain day. So I would actually just find that number, and if your number is 5,000 calories in a day, I would figure a way to get to that. I wouldn't worry so much about the macros. I think especially in the start, maybe when you start fine-tuning your bulk, or in the future, you can kind of get a little more detailed. But for now, you just need to eat enough that you can gain weight. Step 3 is what to eat. So number one thing that you have to do is you need to eat nutrient-dense foods. So this is eating real foods. So that's where things like rice, pasta, tuna, peanut butter, stuff like that. Like, you need to eat stuff that is actually nutrient-dense. And that's where, I recommend a ton of steak, a ton of red meat, chicken. And then for your carbs, I'd really say, you're one of the few people in the world who carbs are your friend right now. So you can eat rice, pasta, oats, potatoes. But you should definitely start with, if you have 5,000 calories, trying to get as many as you can from nutrient-dense foods, and then kind of find your fillers. So when I say filler foods, this is kind of where it goes from a regular diet to like a bulking diet. So your filler foods are gonna be stuff that probably it wouldn't be like recommended. So this could be stuff like ice cream in your protein shake, stuff like that, but things that you're gonna use to kind of boost your calories up. And last but not least, this is one of the most important things, is you need to eat more food in a day, you need to eat more often. So a lot of guys will try to do the whole eat 3 really big meals, and it sucks. That's terrible. I wouldn't recommend doing that. What I would recommend doing is eating almost every 2 hours, 2.5 hours. And so if you want to eat a lot of food throughout the day, you should probably start earlier in the morning. So if you don't usually eat breakfast till 9, but you're up at 6, you should eat at least a snack, if not breakfast, at 7 o'clock. So then at 7, now at 9:30, you're eating another meal, and you're already a meal ahead, and a lot of calories ahead than you were in your previous routine. All right, so those are pretty much my tips and my steps. And I think the best thing that bulking does, or anything that is in whether it's bulking or cutting, the best thing it does for a diet, having a diet for an athlete, is letting that athlete understand their body a little bit better. So kind of how you put on weight, how you can take off weight. But I do think athletes should know what they're putting into their body. I think you should be able to fully cook your meals. I think you should be able to take care of yourself, because if you want to be a high level athlete, that's something that you're gonna need to do down the road. So that is tip of the week 2. That's bulking. That's the advice that I would give to anyone. So I want to make a video for it. And if you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments. Ask them on my Q&As on Instagram on Mondays. But really right now, the biggest thing is food is your friend, and trying to make sure that if it's important to you, you'll make it happen. So I appreciate you guys for watching. Don't forget to comment, subscribe, and also share this video with one of your other small friends. Getting big together is definitely something that's more enjoyable, and so if you can have a friend, kind of like an accountability person, then I would recommend that. So I appreciate you guys watching, and if you want to vote on the next one, look out on Instagram, and I will be posting a poll. So appreciate it.